Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Only Stupid Answers. And I am very excited to be talking about the first 3 episodes of Season 5 of The Expanse. Amazon sent me screeners to discuss the show, and I was actually able to talk about it on the most recent episode of the Only Stupid Answers show. What's the Only Stupid Answers show? Well, every week, Roxy Stryer and I answer your questions about movies, TV shows, comics, and the biggest news of the week live. And if you want to be part of that discussion and watch it live, you can do that at patreon.com/onlystupidanswers. But here's a review of the season premiere of The Expanse. In different parts of the solar system, the crew of the Rocinante and their allies confront the sins of their past while Marco Inaros unleashes an attack that will alter the future of Earth, Mars, the Belt, and the worlds beyond the ring. And like I said, this is the first 3 episodes. Episode 1 is Exodus, Episode 2 is Churn, and Episode 3 is Mother. If you've watched this show, you know that I am a huge fan of The Expanse. Roxy, have you ever checked out this show? Or know anything about it at all?
Not at all. Honestly, I don't know one thing about it, so I'm going to tell you what I think it's about.
Okay.
I hear the word expanse,
Yes.
so I think like space. Like
Yes.
you know, large space. I feel like I've seen like some kind of stars on some kind of cover and like a black, blue, navy situation.
Yeah. You're right
I don't
there.
even know what network it's on, but the fact that you watch it makes me feel like it's an FX kind of thing.
Kind of.
Okay, so maybe an AMC situation we got going on. I don't know, somewhere around there. And something about humanity. Will they make it?
Yes.
How big is this place? That's kind of what I got.
That's actually really good. So The Expanse is based off of a novel series, and it was on Sci-Fi for 3 seasons. Then it got canceled because it is a comparatively expensive show. I mean, we're not talking like Game of Thrones numbers, but comparatively
You did
expensive.
tell me Amazon sent it to you, so I should have picked up on the fact that it's there.
Yeah. And so Amazon picked it up for season 4, and now this is season 5, and they've just announced that they're doing season 6, and that will be the final season, which, as a fan of the show, it's heavily serialized. So knowing that they know they have an end date planned, it's like, cool, now you get to prepare for it, you get to be ready for it. I do believe there's like 3 more books in the series, so that's going to have to be something they have to like work around. But you're 100% right about the space thing. If I were to describe it, I think a lot of people describe it, and this is a little bit reductive, but it is a good way to understand the tone, is it's Game of Thrones in space. And when people say that, what they mean is the same way Game of Thrones took the high fantasy genre and grounded it in like political machinations that we could understand from our understanding of the medieval times and all that stuff. The Expanse takes sci-fi stuff and grounds it as much as it can to the degree that like there's no light speed. We're not leaving the solar system. Essentially, the 3 factions are Earth. There's colonies on Mars that have seceded from Earth, and then there's a group called the Belters, and they live and operate in different space stations or satellites deeper in the solar that the Kuiper Belt, where there's a lot of asteroids and meteors that they mine for ice and other minerals and stuff like that. And all 3 factions hate each other. They're all essentially in a Cold War, and they are trying to. We follow a group of people as they go on zany adventures while like uncovering conspiracies that threaten to make the Cold War hot.
I have several questions for you already.
Yes.
Is this what would you say is the rating of this show? Like not ABC, but like RPG-13. Like how sexy time is it?
It's not a lot of sexy time. It's a soft R, I would say. It's like a lot of like, it's like a lot of those shows that around the time Game of Thrones came out, where it's like, okay, well, we can't do HBO nudity and violence, but we're gonna get as close as we can on network standards. That type of like TV.
Couple F-bombs in there.
More now that it's on Amazon. In the Amazon seasons, but it does do an amazing job of letting you know how much space does not give a F about humans. It is the environment is merciless. Like within the first few episodes.
Are they aliens? Is everybody on the show an alien?
No, nobody on the show is. Everybody's humans. The only alien element is this thing called the proto-molecule that is truly alien. And it's just this goo that it's still mostly a mystery where it came from. As the show has evolved, by the time we get into season 4, they are more. We've run into some alien artifacts, some alien structures, but there's no like talk time with aliens.
And do you feel like since it went to Amazon, it's gotten better, worse, stayed the same?
I think it stayed the same, which is a very good thing. I think
that's great.
You can see a little bit more. It feels like Amazon's pumping a little bit more money into it. I think there's a little bit more narrative freedom to the show, which is nice. But it has really managed its pace and its tone well. And I think I probably attribute this books because I think a lot of the problems Game of Thrones people have with Game of Thrones actually stem from problems George R.R. Martin embedded in the books, because his need to like spread everybody as far as possible. This has a core cast with a few like orbiting supporting players. And what's interesting this season is I was a little bit worried. The first 3 episodes drop December 16th. And they're doing the same thing they did with The Boys, where they're dropping the first 3 episodes, and then each episode after that is week to week.
That seems to be a Hulu Amazon special, and I actually love that release plan. I love getting into something, but then still having it be water cooler enough that I can come back every week.
Yes.
But they give me enough at the top to get invested. I kind of wish that Mandalorian / Disney Plus would adopt that mentality as well. But anyway, continue, DJ.
Well, I think what they're doing with all of that, because HBO Max did the same thing with Doom Patrol. And I think what they're doing is they're trying to split the difference from people that want to binge stuff but also do the weekly thing, because I think they looked at Netflix, and Netflix has really put themselves in kind of a bind where I think their thought way back in the day, House of Cards, Daredevil, early stuff, was that they would drop this stuff and people would talk about that show for a month, 2 months. And what people did is they binged it in a weekend. And so now they're in a position where they need to drop a full fucking series every weekend. You know what I mean?
What they do.
Which is what they do, but it seems unsustainable. And so I think everybody else is kind of like, oh, fuck that. Let's essentially do a weekly rollout, because what do people do? We talk about The Mandalorian for the week. We talk about The Boys for the week. We talk about like, I think that's much more sustainable. But you know, I don't work at Netflix. Like, what do I know? Anyway, so when these first 3 episodes begin, they do something that always makes me a little bit nervous. You've got this core cast of characters you like, and then they split them apart. And like,
okay, that's tough.
That's tough. Like, I think my go-to example is Guardians 2, right? Like everybody fell in love with Guardians, but a big part of the draw was these group of people bouncing off each other. So when we split them apart, it kind of weakened the appeal. What's interesting about this is I actually think it's paying off, because what they've essentially done is their 4 key cast members, they've dropped in these other subplots with other supporting characters that we've met before. So it's a way, instead of us spending time with subplots where it's like, well, these aren't my main people, so why do I care? It makes us invested more in these subplots because it does have a person that we care about. And I think, so we've got Amos, who is by far the best character on the show. He's one of my favorite characters on TV. He's gone back to Earth, to Baltimore. We've got Alex. He's back on Mars with Bobby Draper, who is a Martian Marine. And it was introduced in season 2 and is a very cool character. Meanwhile, our main dude, Jim Holden, is at a space station trying to figure out a mystery revolving around the protomolecule. And then Naomi Nagata, who is a Belter, her son, she had a son with like the big main Belter terrorist that we met last season. And he, at the end of last season, is probably one of the craziest cliffhangers this show has done. And props to the show's pacing, because they introduced a literal world-threatening, like Earth is in the crosshairs at the end of last season. And it was like, what do we do with this? And especially knowing that like Amos is going to Earth. And I thought we were going to deal with it immediately. But like Game of Thrones, the pacing and how people travel time matters. And I think it actually matters more than Game of Thrones, because Game of Thrones exists in a fictional world. This is a grounded sci-fi world. There's no light speed. So it's like, yeah, if you're going from Mars to Earth, you're on a ship for a few weeks at least. It's gonna take a minute. And so There's this,
as it tends to.
as it tends to. And so there's this ticking clock the first 3 episodes, which adds a lot of tension, and the way they kind of organically adapt this threat. It's weird because like people that watch the show know, so it's not spoilers for them, but it is spoilers for you. So I don't want to spoil it for you. I feel like not enough people watch the show. It is truly great. So I don't want to spoil the cliffhanger of season 4, even though we're now in season 5. But the way they adapt that threat and the way we have different characters interacting with each other in new environments, learning new things about our characters and the world they operate in, I am genuinely always impressed with this show, even though it doesn't have like Game of Thrones money or like that scale. The character work, the plotting, the pacing, I think is just really tight and really smart. And the way each season builds to, like, I feel like every season it builds to this place within the last 3 episodes where it's like, this is insane. Like, I don't know how we're going to get out of this. Like, I don't know, like, what are we going to do? And the way, and the way, I love that. And they always play by the rules. It's something I really like. There's not like the only thing that doesn't is the protomolecule. The one gimme they've given themselves is because the protomolecule is so alien, it doesn't play by any rules, and all the characters, it'll do something and they're like, wait, why is this happening? So, and then they have to deal with it. So I'm very interested to see the end of episode 3 ends on a cliffhanger almost as big as the end of season 4. So I'm very interested to see where we go from there. Thank you, Amazon, for sending me these screeners, because I genuinely love this show. I really hope people go check it out. The whole show's on Amazon. I can't recommend enough you check it out. Give it like 3 episodes, because it takes a minute. The world is so detailed. It takes a minute to like this is what we're dealing with.
3 episodes isn't too bad. Like, I feel like these days you have to give things 6 episodes, or people are like, get through the first season. And it's like, all right, but 3 episodes, I can definitely give something.
Yeah. Yeah. I always hate it when somebody's like, all you have to do is like watch the first 2 seasons. You're like, well, f you. I'm not going to do that. What are you talking about? Like, if it takes that long to get good, it's always good. It just takes a minute for like, okay, this is how things work. And like, this is how to understand how the world operates. And I'm a sucker for stuff that really takes the time to be like, again, like space travel is not a magic thing. Like, if you want to travel at a certain speed, you have to get something injected in you so that your muscles don't turn to jelly. Like, that's
cool.
It's tough. Like, it's a tough world these characters live in, and again, it's
hard out here for
yeah, exactly. And they always play by the rules they set up for themselves. Like I said, this is the second to last season, so this is actually a really great time to catch up. All right, so those are my thoughts on the first 3 episodes of season 5 of The Expanse. Let me know what you thought in the comments, and let me know if you'd like to see more reviews. I was actually sent more episodes. I would love to keep discussing the show with you. It's one of my favorites, so let me know in the comments if you'd like to see more of that. Also, please share, like, subscribe, all that jazz. If you want to check out the Only Stupid Answers show, where we answer your questions about shows like this and more. For instance, we discussed all the Disney Plus, Star Wars, and Marvel news that was announced last week. So if you want more of that and you want to watch the show live, go to patreon.com/onlystupidanswers. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.